Yo, join the community, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel, and thumbs this video up if you happen to enjoyed it. So, according to Dillian Whyte, he's a free agent, which means he's no longer signed with Mr. Eddie Hearn or Matchroom Boxing, right? Which means he has options to choose other, guys like to promote him, basically other promoters, right? At least he says he's a free agent. I don't know how true that is. I guess his contract, has already expired. But Dillian Whyte, in my opinion, seems like he's annoyed. He's annoyed, and he was annoyed that Eddie Hearn offered him such a low offer against Anthony Joshua. Maybe he felt insulted by that. Maybe he felt like, you know what, Eddie Hearn is, not respecting me as a fighter. He's offering me these low offers. I fought all these guys. I've been going on a 4-year streak where I've not lost a single fight. I deserve a proper offer for Anthony Joshua. I've seen some people say that Eddie Hearn is not, like Eddie Hearn does not give Dillian Whyte, or does not care about Dillian Whyte the way he cares about somebody like Anthony Joshua's career. Like he caters to Anthony Joshua rather than Dillian Whyte. And so I understand that, of course, Eddie Hearn is going to be more, trying to give Joshua the big fights because Joshua is his cash cow, right? While Dillian Whyte is not. If Eddie Hearn did not have if Eddie Hearn did not have Joshua, Dillian Whyte would be the best heavyweight that Eddie Hearn has. So he was in Las Vegas because he was there to scout the Manny Pacquiao Adrian Broner fight, press conferences or whatever. And some people are saying that since he's going around talking about he's a free agent and he's scouting for his other options, that he's probably looking at guys like Al Heyman, PBC. Frank Warren has come out and said, "Hey, come my way, Dillian Whyte." If he were to join Frank Warren, then the fight with Tyson Fury could happen, right? Because that's a fight that Dillian Whyte also wanted. He wanted that fight with Tyson Fury. But let's say he decides to sign with Al Heyman, aka PBC, right? Then you got Dominic Breazeale there. Dominic Breazeale fights with PBC. You got Deontay Wilder there. Deontay Wilder, if I'm not mistaken, he still fights with PBC, doesn't he? Yeah, he fights under PBC, or at least he used to. But that's like an American. Well, PBC has now launched their own little in the UK, so I shouldn't say that, right? Because I was gonna say it's just an American boxing network, but no, PBC has branded over to the UK. So, I mean, do you guys think this is a good idea for Dillian Whyte? Matchroom, to me at least, it looks like Matchroom is the #1 boxing. Basically, it looks to me like Eddie Hearn is the best promoter in the UK, right? I think at least that's how it looks like to me from the outside. It looks like he's the #1 promoter. At least he seems like it to me. I know the UK has several boxing promoters, guys like obviously the legendary Frank Warren, guys like Mick Hennessy, and other smaller promoters. But the guy running boxing there, the head promoter, just comes across as Mr. Eddie Hearn. And that's why I think several UK boxers, they signed to him because they know he's like the #1 promoter in the UK, right? But Dillian Whyte seems to not just he just seems not to be happy, right? So with Mr. Eddie Hearn, I guess he feels like maybe Eddie Hearn doesn't. That's the impression I get. I feel like he feels that Eddie Hearn doesn't respect him. He feels like, yo, come on, man, offer me this big money fight. Maybe he feels like, man, you offered Charles Martin $5 million. I mean, let's think about this for a second. Supposedly Eddie Hearn offered Charles Martin $5 million to face Anthony Joshua, right? To come over to the UK and defend his IBF belt against Anthony Joshua. Now, Dillian Whyte has said that Eddie Hearn offered him less than what he made against Derek Chisora. And one of my subscribers told me that he made $5 million against Derek Chisora. That means he offered him less than that. So that means he offered him less than he offered Charles Martin. Right? So maybe something like that, pisses off, like really pisses off Dillian Whyte. And he feels like, man, you offered Charles Martin more money than me, and I'm way more known than Charles Martin. And I've beaten way better fighters than Charles Martin, right? And that's true. Charles Martin, going into the Anthony Joshua fight had really fought guys that weren't really that good, right? As opposed to Dillian Whyte, he actually has fought guys with names. So yeah, I would feel disrespected if Eddie Hearn did that to me and I was his fighter, right? So maybe he just feels disrespected. Obviously, he could still sign, if he is a free agent, he could still sign another deal with Eddie Hearn. But the thing is, if he leaves Eddie Hearn, then he's probably not going to fight Joshua next. He's probably not going to fight him next, because the best way to fight Joshua is to be signed with Eddie Hearn, right? So if he goes the Frank Warren route, or if he goes the PBC route, he's going to be looking at fighting more American fighters like, Dominic Breazeale, Deontay Wilder, if he goes to the PBC route. And if he goes to the Frank Warren route, Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn seem to not have a good relationship. They seem to it seems to be difficult to have them both make a fight for their fighters to fight each other. So I doubt that Frank Warren, even though he is he is a UK promoter as well, I doubt that Frank Warren will have him up there against Anthony Joshua, because he does. I don't think him and Eddie Hearn do business together. I don't know. It seems like Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren do not like having their fighters fight against each other. So. But then again, he could put him in there against Tyson Fury, right? Because he does promote Tyson Fury. So, is that a good move? What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Dillian Whyte should stay with Eddie Hearn, or he should go to an American promoter? Right, there's a bunch of American promoters. Or should he go to Frank Warren? Like a Howard Davis. I remember Howard Davis was with Matchroom, then he went over to Frank Warren when he had that little controversy where he tweeted something bad or something. I don't know. Again, I think Dillian Whyte just feels disrespected as a fighter. He feels like Mr. Eddie Hearn is not showing him respect, giving him. Again, I don't know how much he offered him. Dillian Whyte has not come to details and just said how much he actually offered him. So that's what I'm curious to know. How much Eddie Hearn actually offered him. Anyway, guys, stuff to say. Let me know what you guys think of this. Do you guys think that Mr. Dillian Whyte should stay with Matchroom, or should he go and join these other promoters in the U.S. or, Eddie Hearn rival, Frank Warren? Anyway, guys, I'd love to say thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and thumbs up video if you enjoyed it.